How's it going? Strife here, and today we're doing the walkthrough for COF Path 3. So COF Path 3 is the hardest path of this dungeon. It's usually the one that most people run once just for their achievement or their dungeon master title, and then as many people know, COF Path 1 is the farm path currently, so if you do need tokens, that would be the path people run, considering it's probably the most profitable and easiest dungeon out of every single dungeon. So what we're doing here is, you saw I talked to the NPC before I activated the map vote. You just want one person to stay in the video while you talk to the NPC. By doing that, similar to the Path 1 video I have, you can grab the NPC and she'll follow you, and then once you get to the bottom you just finish this path vote and the door will instantly open. If you don't do it that way, she just runs down like a slow NPC, so you shave off about 30 seconds doing it the way I just did it. Then as far as this first room, so before the January 28th patch, this room gave pugs a lot of trouble. You had to light 5 torches at the same time, but there were 3 groups of mobs at each torch, so you had to time killing them and then lighting the torch before they respawned. Now they nerfed it so there are only 3 torches to light, so you can actually get help at 2 of the torches. If you see on the minimap, the bottom left torch, that's the easiest one. There's usually only 1 mob a lot of times that you need to kill, so we'll send 1 person down there solo and then 2 people to the other 2 torches. So you saw there, I counted over voice chat with my group and we hit the torches at the same time. The warrior that was with me was finishing off the last flame imp, so I actually didn't need to bother killing it. And then once you all group up together, you're just going to run through this part. As you can see, reflections help there, so you're not taking a bunch of fire bolts in the face. And then once we get to this corner up here, you just want to wait for your group again, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to focus pull these mobs so we run through without getting hit, and then veil to stealth, so we actually don't need to fight that group and we can just run up here. On this little platform there's just going to be a bunch of trash mobs, normal mobs, non-silvers, so just tag as many as you can and pick up the loot after. Nothing too difficult. Then when we get to the second bridge, you actually want to stop. You don't want to keep running ahead. As you can see, there's a bunch of Flame Legion ahead of me, but some NPCs behind us will come, create mortars, and actually kill them all. So you'll see here I'm holding Alt. You can see all the enemies, and they will die in a second. So you can just wait until they're all dead. A few waves of mortars will kill them all. Now if you are feeling ballsy, you can run in there as well and tag them all and try and kill them. They're most of them are normal mobs, so if you do have a group that's killing pretty quickly, like our group, you can run in and try and tag them as well. Now as you can see here, we killed the 2 flame turrets in the trash. Then this is the first, I guess, boss of this path. He's pretty easy though, he's just a champion. He only has 2 attacks. He has a single target pistol attack, which causes bleeding. Overall, pretty minor damage. And then he has that jump back with the flame thrower type move. That's just going to hit everyone in front of him, but again, it doesn't do very much direct damage, and it mainly just applies burning, which you can remove with condition removal, which we have quite a bit of in our group. So after you pick up your chest, this next room is probably the event that gives most people trouble now. What's going to happen is we're going to kill this group in here and activate this capture point. Once that happens, we need to kill 3 waves of mobs that they basically spawn one after another, so you don't have very much time to heal up. So this part really requires some teamwork, and obviously if you have AoE and cleaves, it makes it a lot easier as well. So you'll see once we capture this point, the top right, we'll have to go through 5 waves, it says, of Flame Legion. So the first wave is going to spawn right here. I'm going to actually focus pull them to the wall. so we can group them up and quickly cleave and AoE them down. Then you'll see once we killed the first wave, the second wave spawns, and it pretty much just goes wave after wave. There is a little bit of leeway, I believe. If you have like 1 or 2 mobs left, you can try and kite them around to heal up if you are low on health. But if you do kill fast enough, as you can see here, we actually got out of combat, so we have time to heal up in between wave 2 and 3. And then what we're doing here is we're actually letting the NPCs die. We're using this little pillar to LOS this group of mobs. Normally these flame callers, you can't pull them, they're immune to pulls. So by LOSing them, it actually kind of pulls them together a bit more, so you can try and AoE and cleave them down a bit easier. So we killed that group of 3 pretty quickly, and then we just have this single one remaining, which shouldn't be too difficult. If you have reflections, again, it makes this part quite a bit easier because one of their 2 attacks is a projectile. So I would say that the third wave, that one with the 4 flame callers, if you don't have reflection, that's probably the most challenging wave. And then wave 5 coming up, it just has 2 of the flamethrower type enemies, and then again 2 archers. So as long as you interrupt or dodge their flamethrower attack, this part's pretty easy as well. And that is it for this defend event. As you can see, if you do have classes and organization like we do, this part's not very difficult. But if you have a lot of single target attacks and don't have any reflection, it can be a bit more challenging. Alright, so coming up here is the trap puzzle event of this dungeon. So what you want to do is you want to run past these lantern things when they're not lit up. So you'll see here I'm running pretty much as they started like moving down the line, the lights. And then with swiftness and blink, it's pretty easy to get up, and I just portaled my group up. Here, again, focus pulling to get past mobs. And you're going to fight another champion. It's the Drake. You can actually pull it into this room, and those flame thrower type enemies will leash, so you don't actually need to fight them. And by fighting in this room, you can also avoid the turrets that are lining that ramp up. Overall, this pet Drake, really easy. It's just like a normal Drake. He has pretty much 1 attack besides its auto attack, which is this flamethrower move. Just don't stand in the middle of it, obviously. It has a really long wind up or charge up time. So really no one should have trouble with this boss. And then once he dies, we'll just continue running up this pathway, this ramp to the top. You can just ignore everything else, and then shortly we will be at the last boss of this path. Now, as far as this boss goes, he is probably the most annoying part of this path. He's one of those bosses that has either a lot of health or a mechanic that extends his fight, and once you figure out his moves, it becomes just kind of tedious rather than challenging. So going over this boss, he has 4 attacks. His first attack is going to be a ranged attack. He's going to throw out his hammer and it's going to knock you back. Pretty much most of his moves except one of them are knockbacks, so you don't want to stand near the edge of this platform because you'll get knocked into the lava, so you want to try and stay at the middle of the platform. You'll see when we're running in, all of the warriors and the guardians use their shouts, and I signated it. The reason we did that is because we want to maximize our DPS in time warp without getting knocked back and damaged. So we time like Aegis, stability, and then obviously all the damage shouts, and then double duration them. So you see there we got a chunk of his health off from the time warp. Now going back to his moves, I already mentioned his hammer throw at range, which knocks you back. His second and most dangerous move is this big charge up that I just got hit by. It has maybe a 1 second charge up. You just want to dodge behind him or to the side when he does that. His third move, he's going to root one person, immobilize them. That usually only happens again when you're at range. As long as you have condition removal, not a big deal. And then his fourth move in melee range, he's going to do a quick spin, which knocks you back as well. It doesn't really do any damage, so that one's more annoying than anything. Just, again, don't stand by a ledge. Now, as you can see here, every maybe 10-15 seconds, he runs to the middle of the platform. He becomes invulnerable, and he creates a earthquake type AoE attack. You just want to evade through it. If you don't evade through it, you're going to get knocked back, possibly multiple times, which will push you into the lava. So you see he's doing it here. I'll actually show you. If I get hit here, it just pushes you back like that. So you do want to evade forward through the earthquake AoE. So besides that, it's really just about timing that big charge up move. If you have like an anchor like we run with the Guardian, it's usually going to be on the Guardian, so you just want to stand behind whoever has aggro. So not as many people have to time their dodges. But besides that, you can see it takes quite a while. If you have like a low DPS group, it's going to take forever. The other thing to note is that condition classes are at a real disadvantage here as well, because every time he goes into his invulnerable stage, he removes all of his conditions. So you'll see here, if he does go in, he removed all his conditions, so it further weakens the condition class, which is already weaker than direct damage in PvE. But once he's dead, that is it. And thanks for watching.